Hearty greetings to you, dear viewer. Today's story is about a creator who needs a steady rest. A steady rest is defined in my dictionary app as related to machinery. Quote, a rest in a turning lathe to keep a long piece of work from trembling. Close quote. The first thing our eager-to-learn creator did was watch a couple of old videos on, you guessed it, YouTube. One was 4 years old and the other was 7 years old. Rather than copy exactly someone else's design, our hero sets out to slay the dragon of failure on his quest for this steady rest, which he sorely needs. You see, a project has already been started by our artist, and the lack of the previously mentioned item has proven to be a bit of a hindrance. The piece, a first of its kind for this artist's attempt at a resin goblet, had already been broken and repaired twice. The artist cut and glued 3 16-inch by 16-inch squares of half-inch plywood into a blank 1.5 inches thick. 2 circles were drawn and 3 axes from center were drawn 60 degrees apart. A 1 by 2 by 3-inch setup block was used to add lines on each side of the axis. Trim router and fence were used to create a channel roughly 1/2 inch deep for the spokes, which would hold the 72mm inline skate wheels purchased for this project. I believe the 3/4 inch wide router bit used and the large depth of each pass exceeded what smarter woodworkers would have done, and there were a couple of incidents where the bit dug in where it wasn't intended. Takeaway: maintain a firm grip and take smaller passes. After the channels were cut out, the ring was cut out of the blank. First the exterior using the bandsaw, and then the inner cut was made with the jigsaw. The arms or spokes were cut from more of the same 1/2 inch plywood, which had been used to create the 1.5 inch blank. There was a little bend on one side of the sheet, so the long part of the spoke was drawn on the straighter side. 5/16 holes were drilled for the wheel center and both ends of the center line cutout area. A 3/8 inch bit and fence were used to excavate the adjustment channels on each of the 3 spokes. The spokes were then cut out using the bandsaw. Hardware was sourced from the local regional lumber store. The wing nuts will be replaced with knobs at some point. These were installed and we were one step closer to success. Next up, devices needed to be created and installed to hold the much sought after steady rest to the lathe bed. Both of the videos our hero watched had similar designs for achieving this goal. First, the ring was oriented so that the top spoke was centered at the top of the ring. A strip of 1/4 inch plywood, slightly narrower than the groove in the lathe bed, was CA glued to the bottom of the ring, and the steady rest was installed. As soon as the goblet was mounted on the lathe, bitter reality came crashing through the door. The center of the steady rest was way above the center of the lathe spindle. Modifications were made, and we'll let the artist bring us up to speed. Every once in a while I get going for too long and my back hurt. The steady rest had design problem. The bottom of the circle was even with the top of the lathe bed, which put it way too high. So what I had to do was make the inner part of the circle even with the lathe bed, because it's 12 inches here and this is a 12 inch. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna put some glue on this and this, and then we're gonna square it up and we're gonna tighten it up. Here's a little glue. We'll put some on here. The arms were installed and the steady rest was successfully adjusted to the goblet. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and watch this video next. Peace.